Okay, so what we want to do today is we want to get into something that always wanted to, we always talk about, but we never have the exact information. And so this is going to be one of my projects that I work on, stuff like this in the trail. This is the trail of these places, and we're just going to follow this trail. And I invite you all to follow this trail too. To do your own research on the side and stuff, and investigate where this trail leads. This is a crazy trail. So of course we want to know. We always say black people, you got your Bible from slavery. You know what I'm saying? Slave master gave you that Bible. Put that shit down. But we don't never have the actual proof. I don't have me personally. I say, but I can never quote the actual case, the proof, and so we wanted to do that actual research so we could, just know, so we could, if it's true, we need to say it's true. If it's not true, then we need to stop saying it, and you know what I mean, and like forget it. But let's dig into the history of black churches in America, the history of Negro preachers in America. Yeah, so for that we're gonna start off here at Oxford. We just want to get their take on religion, you know, in African American history. Not religion as African American history. Religion is not our history. It's just a little piece in it. So we had to go all the way to London town to get their take on it. So let's get their take on it. We want to scroll down. I'm pulling from this during these little times that I come back and forth to this topic. So um, I don't necessarily need to read it right now, but I'll just dive into a little bit of what they're saying. Um, Remember, the 18th century is the 1700s. So as African Americans embraced Christianity beginning in the 18th century, go down. Sorry, beginning in the 18th century, especially after 1770, they gathered in independent church communities and created larger denominational structures such as the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, and the National Black Convention. Now, how many of these did they actually create? They said that they created, they gathered and created. I would just say they gathered. I wouldn't say they created. Maybe they created one, but we're at the beginning, so we don't know anything today, right? We're just trying to find out what's happening here. Who's the first? They sent around trying giving me any exact dates of the first. So this is just an overview. And they give the nationals, the big ones in the beginning. African Methodist Episcopal Church, African Methodist Episcopal Zion. Like, whoa, they just added a Zion, that's it. And there's a lot more to it. It's intricate, but we'll get deeper. And National Baptist Convention. So those are the three main ones. This is later, the last one. These two formed around the same time. Methodist Episcopal and Methodist Zion, as Methodist Episcopal Zion, formed around the same time. So let's just go into what they have to say. Enslavement, religious transformation. This is a still overview. Let's get into America. Okay. Black churches, institutional religious life. Here we go. I like this topic. In addition to often hidden covert religious activities. Wait a minute. Okay. In addition to often hidden covert religious activities in the invisible institution of slave religion, antebellum, which is before the war, I'm trying to say before freedom, or okay, um, African American Christians have developed churches that provided arenas for independent interpretation of Christian teaching and practice, as well as a platform for political organizing. Early independent Baptist churches included the Bluff, Georgia church, led in the 1700s by David George. He lived from 1740 to 1810, and the First African Baptist Church of Savannah, Georgia, founded in 1783 by Andrew Bryan. He lived from 1737 to 1812. Okay, so this is a good antidote. The Baptist framework appealed to those in bondage because the structure of congregational autonomy supported local leadership and independence. Although these formerly enslaved men and their large enslaved congregants, see, they say these formerly enslaved men. What do you mean? Okay, I like the way you did that. Good job there. And their largely enslaved congregants faced monitoring and restrictions on religious practice. So they're talking about these guys and what's going on with this Baptist thing in Georgia and you know, North Florida, I guess at the time too. Um, Not so much in South Carolina. Okay. Free black Baptists in northern states where slavery was abolished gradually following the American Revolution also established important congregations. They include the African Meeting House in Boston, founded in 1805, but we're way past where we want to be. So we want to stop there because I already know where we're going. And they're going to go to other black preachers, but we want to go to the first black preacher, right? That's what this one is. It's the first. Say they didn't give us that. We didn't expect them to give us that. We got to find our own history. So I'm going to thank this brother for giving it to us. This brother, this man is in charge of this, responsible. His page is slow. His page is slow. It goes slow down there. But by Richard Reed. You know, this is new. Richard Reed. I want to give you props because he's on a case. But he's doing it a different way. We're going to do it in a different way too. He put us on a case though. They said 1770. Richard put an antidote. All these, you should check out his website. The T and contact, that's some good stuff. But this is highly important to me. 1743. Reverend Alexander Gardner of the Church of England began a school for black students. And what did he do? He purchased 2 slaves, Harry and Andrew, and trained them to be teachers. Okay, it was messing up. Let's read it again. What did he do? Don't let him mess you up, guys. Don't let him mess you up. You know, he purchased 2 slaves, Harry and Andrew, and trained them to be teachers. Now, that doesn't tell us everything. It just tells us something. Let's read this again. Reverend Alexander of the Church of England. This is the Protestant denomination. This is the real deal. Began a school for black students. But what did he do in this school? The Church of England sponsored person. He goes and purchased 2 slaves, Harry and Andrew. And they say so he can make them teachers. Is that what you think? If you teaching them if you're teaching them to teach the Bible, wouldn't they be priests? Let's find out. Let's dig into this guy, the culprit. He's the guy we always said. Who gave you that Bible? Your slave master. Well, the church, Reverend Alexander here, just brought 2 live Negroes. They were live. They were 2 live Negroes, Harry and Andrew, and trained them to be teachers. Well, let's dig into this man and see who he was. Reverend Alexander, church clergyman. Now I can say little was known about him, but that would be a lot. There's actually a lot known about him. He was a prominent man of his time. You have to understand. He was sent to America by the church. So let's dig into the story. He was a Scottish Episcopalian. Now, people, these Episcopalian shits, don't get caught up in it. It's a trick. It's a trick. Educated at the University of Aberdeen in Scotland, not Aberdeen, Maryland. In 1719, he went south to Carolina. He went to South Carolina, then part of the American colonies, as the Bishop of London's commissary and became director of the Episcopalian St. Philip's Church in Charleston. Now this is important, guys. It's important because we're trying to figure out. We say not only did the slave master give you some shit, was teaching you about Jesus, but the slave master's government was ordaining niggas to be preachers, huh? How about that? This is insane, right? Or maybe it's just history. He was a prominent figure in the early history of Charleston, then known as Charlestown. Also remembered for his efforts to censor the evangelist George Whitefield. And they have books and arguments and articles and letters back and forth about these guys. Whitefield is an evangelical priest. He is not part of the Church of England. He was a revivalist. He's one of the people that just hit town to town. Small town. So he just come to your town and hold a revival. That was the beginning of it. Him and Wesley, John Wesley, they worked together. Let's keep going real quick because this is, as well as supervising other clergymen in the area, he took an interest in the Charleston Free School. They trying to say he took an interest. No, I'm about to show you something. He took an interest. Yeah, he took a damn good interest in the Charleston Free School. But you know what he did? He established the so-called Negro School, which was supported by the Church of England's Society for Propaganda of the Gospel. Wait a minute. So the church say we want to teach slaves? Is this the church saying they got a propagation? They got a society for propagation? Man, that's not true. And they say he died in 74. He moved back to England, but he came back. Okay, whatever. He died in 76, baby. 2 years after he left and came back. So here we go. Let's see who these guys is. The Society for the Propagation of the Gospel. I might cut you off with. Oh, this is the trail. Let's see where we're going. The United Society, also known as US, is a United Kingdom-based charitable organization. Royal Charter, Society for the Propagation of the Gospel. You know what propaganda is? So you want to propagate in the farm parts, the SPG, man, this thing's crazy. Missionaries, smallpox in the blankets. We know what these guys are. But what did they do? What did they do? I mean, let's read a little bit. This group was renamed in 1965. Why? Because the activities. Who wants to be called the propaganda gospel? You know what I mean? The propagation gospel, like propaganda. They still, you know, united in society. What did they change? What the hell? Let's see if they got anything damaged here. I doubt it. I doubt it. We got the goods. All right. Current activities, yo, God, you gotta watch these guys. Current activities, project work includes community-based healthcare provisions for expectant mothers, for those suffering from HIV and AIDS. People still got AIDS. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, as well as educational books. I mean, these people, they involved. You know, I love the British. I love the British. I love the British. I love the what's my other guy's name? Oh yeah, the Pope. Romans, that's my folks. Yep, they just holding me down, holding my spot for me. I get it, I get it. What's your up, baby, man? Let's see. Yeah, I don't want that. That's work. I don't want that work. So, cause see, what we have to do is we have to say, okay, well, cool. He bought 2 slaves. Well, obviously, what they weren't white slaves. So, who were these guys? Did he buy 2 black slaves? What was he planning on doing with these guys? This is something. This is a whole nother research part. This is I got something going right now. Cooking. It's ridiculous. But I was trying to find a homegirl. I had a homegirl. She was talking, but I guess we're gonna jump right into it. So let's think about what this actually was here. The first black preachers were bought. 2 men bought, Harry and Andrew. That's what the accusation. They were bought, and the Wikipedia didn't say they were bought. But here is a very good in-depth analysis of the whole affair and of actually what took place um, with the whole SPG, the whole Society for Propagation of Gospel. Because yeah, wonderful article by Siobhan Watson, did excellent job. I recommend you check this article out. Uh, the ntce.org, and their whole thing was this. So let's just go into the story, what actually happened, because again, obviously, enslaved teachers. This is our heading is where we is obviously where we want to be, right? Let's start here. Let's just give her, give her line to set up her thesis. Um, the Charlestown Negro School, aforementioned, right? Perhaps the most sustained effort in promoting slave literacy by single organization in America, provides a remarkable case for investigating an early chapter in the history of African American literacy. See, I mean, she has a different take on it. I mean, she's talking about African American literacy. I'm talking about propagation of the fucking gospel here, which is, which is good. But it's just that's what I'm looking for. And she's a scholar, so she has to do her way. I'll do my way. And cool. Opened up in Charleston, South Carolina in 1743. Man, so the school closed in 1764. Now we're going to go into 1764 and what happened, what possibly could happen to the school. But it's just to show you why you really don't ever want to fuck with these people. So even if they ask you to. So again, this is just the first Negro preacher in the beginning of the black churches. So they went to 1770 for the official story, but we're going to go to 1743 for the real deal. So let's kind of find out what happened and who are these people. Why would they even come up with the idea of training Negroes and you know, um, you want to train us? Why would you? You're at the church. Why would you train a slave to read? What is the purpose of that? What are you train? So that's their agenda. If we wanted to accept that argument, what would be the purpose of that? Yeah. They're training them to teach the gospel, to propagate the gospel. You see what I'm saying? You want to say reading? Okay, cool. I'll let you say reading. I'm going to say they're here to propagate the gospel. I'm trying to. I got a couple things. I don't want. I mean, again, like I said, this is a very good article. You should check it out. Very good analysis, about 30 pages. I just want to get to some couple good parts I got. Um, just to even, I mean, I'm not even gonna do that. You gotta read this shit. Like, I'm not gonna give them a good look of why they did it and what they were doing. I'm just gonna show you that this is what they were doing. This is the church now. The church had slaves. We know this. This is a fact. Society. This is what they used to brand on their slaves right here. Oops. Right here, society. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I don't want to get into that. I'm not going to go that far. We want to stick with 1743. But to get there, we gotta ride around. So, this is what happened. The then Bishop of London, Edmund Gibson, reflected upon the difficulties of white catechists, white priests. You see what I'm saying? At Cardington, which is in Bermuda. Um, I'm sorry, Barbados. He discerned that they could not make any inroads in the slave communities there. So, because they couldn't make any inroads in the slave community, Gibson wondered if some of the slaves themselves could be trained and utilized as teachers. Surely, at least one of them, some of them who are capable, and more serious than the rest, must be easily instructed in both our language and religion and be made use of to convey instruction to the rest. Like, that's serious. That's what they're saying. That's not, of course, it's a letter to themselves, but this is what their intent is. At least one of them who are more capable and more serious than the rest might be easily instructed. Both of them, of course, they're not saying that we can't learn. I'm trying to tell you that. No, they know you're smart. They know that. Yeah, of course. So now that you're smart, this is what you can do. You can be made use of to convey instruction to the rest. Hmm. What kind of instruction? Can we get some good instruction out here? Like somebody come with some real ass shit, please. So this is the old trick, get one, us is uh, using young slaves as lay teachers for their communities. You see what they talking lay teachers and stuff. Oh my god, come on. He's a lay teacher, right? All right. Now we get into our guy. Here we go. In hopes of rekindling previously failed efforts in North America, Gibson appointed the shrewd and dogmatic Reverend Alexander Garden as commissary church leader of the Carolinas, Georgia, and the Bahamas in 1729. So, skip a little bit. So the plan didn't start with to the actual application. The other guy, Gibson, came up with it. So some years later, about 15 years later, that's when they really started putting the blueprint together. So what they did was they had to first um, get the funding for it. Here we go. We won't let her tell it through his own words. She quotes him. Um, let's go back to sentence. So I'll catch you up. This is so beautiful. See, they talk about plantation pedagogy. You know, like how they wanted to take a plantation format and use it in a church. You see what I'm saying? It's the blueprint. Feeling no small amount of pressure to increase significantly and rapidly the number of slave converts throughout the Carolina Low Country, Garden informed London of his plans, and in 1740 a blueprint for plantation pedagogy, you know, and boys, little boys, um, pedagogy. What is it? Pediatrics? I don't know. Fuck it. You know, that clearly echoed Gibson's touching the most intellectual method for instructing the Negro, you know, in the principles of our holy religion. That's all they about. As it may have been a matter of long and serious attention, I shall humbly offer my final sentiment upon these following conclusions. So this is what he offers to do. But what again is their purpose? To find the most effectual method for instructing the Negro in the principles of our holy religion, not freeing the Negro, or freeing any white slaves either, or you know what I'm saying? Nothing that the book said. You dig? No, because they're gonna show you in the book where you could be a slave. So, because you didn't want to get it, because understand all of this, what they were saying that they couldn't get you. That's what I'm trying to say. They couldn't get you to catch this shit. They was trying. They've been trying since for 15 years, trying to like because before 15 years they like we couldn't get him. Why can't we catch him? Maybe we gotta send in one of their own. You know what I mean to get them. And they like, get this. Shit. It's cool. Let me tell you what. And why the Baptists even succeeded was because they got these river rituals that is like that's always been familiar with black people and Indians and stuff. So the Baptists, they stuck with that. They have they had to have church by the river and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they was baptizing niggas in new water. So they fed off that culture in the South. But over here, as we proceed, his 5 points was relinquishing the attempt to instruct the whole body of slaves of so many various ages, nations and languages, focusing only on the homeborn slaves under 10 years of age, prospective students, recognizing the neglect of slave masters and the failure of white schoolmasters to teach slaves, shifting the work of instructing to Negro schoolmasters, homeborn, and equally property. See that part there? And equally property. So you're working for them, but you are still property as other slaves, but educated for the service and employment and employed in it during their lives. So they with it. He like, they to them it makes sense. This is 1740. So this is what they said. He asked if he could buy 3, 4, or 5 males, not under the age of 12, not exceeding 16. No. They want to give any money for two, like we said, right? So, in 1740, the Carolina Assembly passed a revised act. Like, you can't even teach people to read. You can't even do it. Like, it's like, you can't do it. They passed the law, right? So, which incorporated some anti-literacy provisions to it. That's what they tell you, right? How about that? To quell whites' anxieties after the Stony Rebellion, 1739, just to give you some backup. Yeah. 9 slaves rebelled in Stony. This is South Carolina, it's Charleston area. They killed 40. I'm gonna say it this way: nine slaves rebelled. They killed 20 white people. They killed 40 Africans. They had to kill 40 slaves to kill 20 white people. That's crazy. That's crazy. These niggas is jumping and diving in front of white folks and shit. 2 at a time to save these motherfuckers and shit. So who think y'all believe that Denmark VC shit? I don't believe it. I don't believe it ever was planned to fucking do this shit. You see that? These 9 people that tried to do that shit here? Check up on that. So, however, the law did not prohibit tactical, which is like, the Bible, of course. I can say that it's 3 in the morning, right? Instructions to slaves, and the restrictions were directly at writing or right. But here's another part: they weren't even really enforcing that shit at the time. It was just something to do. Like, you gotta understand, like, man, we can really know who the black people was. I don't understand these black people in Charleston, man. That's one town. I'll give you a heads up. Read black slave owners or black slave masters. And that'll give you a leg up. I don't understand that. I mean, they real people. They was deep running shit. I'm trying to tell you. I mean, we're gonna get into some of that shit, but okay. So this is something I wanted to get into right here, real quick. Page 9. Here we go. Okay. I just want to show that young man. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I must have missed it. Ooh, I must have missed it. All right. You know what we do. We are thorough. We try to be thorough. We don't rush. What are we rushing for? There's no rush. We want to get everything. Okay. Perceiving the SPG could foster a kind of grassroots appeal for. So, I mean, like, this is what they think was. They wanted to infiltrate you from the grassroots. You see what I'm saying? So, they wanted to create a cadre, padra, cadre, a cadre, which is like a cache of well-trained Anglican teachers. Come on, of Negro preachers. See what I'm saying? So the approach was nothing. I mean, using slaves to teach other slaves. It's fucking ridiculous, man. This is who thinks like that, man. It's only. I mean, not to say. Oh God, man, shut up. Okay. Just presenting information. So against organized labor in 1773. So we just did that. But what was the point up in here? We got to look at that part. Well, anyway, long story short, he got himself 2 boys in 1773. 17. No, he got them before. Here we go. 1742, society agreed to his plans. This that quote again. Good will come out of this evil. That by realizing their full missionary potential, the evils of slavery and their own slaveholding practices could be mitigated. Not ended, but mitigated. So they authorized the purchase of 2 male Negro children, such as they shall be judged proper for instruction. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. They really did that shit. Like, they really bought 2 slaves to teach the gospel. See what I'm saying? And wait a minute. By 1743, 2 Negro youths in Barbados were being trained for preparation for a similar school. So they was, hey man, like I said, a cadre. They was trying to have niggas teaching niggas this whole bullshit, shit that no one was going to believe without a black man telling it to them. And they had to buy the black man to teach it. Because the black man on his own right, he wouldn't have did it. So who was the black man that they bought? Okay. Though Garden regretted that it took him so long to find boys to like him. This sounds very, you know, very gay. But Harry, 14, and Andrew, 15, seemed promising, both baptized in their infancy. Now, this is what they want. Slave. They bought these. These are the baptized slaves. You know what I'm saying? So the boys lived with Gardner under his maintenance and without charge to the society. And with 8 months, Harry proved to be an excellent genius and can now read the New Testament. So Harry became the first Negro preacher officially. And we're gonna find out what happened to poor Harry in a second. Oh my God! You just go. Just Harry was the first. Shit. Andrew, by comparison, seemed of a somewhat slower genius, but a milder and better temper, requiring less. We ain't gonna do like that. We just gonna say, requiring less authority and inspection over him. So, 1743. I mean, again, like I said, I encourage you to to read this yourself. But 1743, he publicly announced it in a local newspaper that he had a schoolmaster for his school, young Harry, the black man, the first Negro preacher that they bought. Don't forget that they owned, that he was owned by the church. The church bought him. So there it is. You have your proof. You have your evidence. You can go back and pull up Alexander Gardner. You can talk about Harry and Andrew and let them live on. You know? So let's find out what happened to them real quick, though, if you don't mind. I don't know. Tell what happened to Harry real quick. Sad case, man. Sad case what they'll do to you when they're done with you and shit. You know? So, let's talk about what happened to Harry. School closed in I think they said 65, right? 1765. So this presents a severe case of separation education. You have to understand now they got these two black guys that they used to be slaves. They still slaves, but they teach another slave. So they kind of separate because the slave they teaching the Bible. So you gotta act. You living like a priest. You a priest. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really interact. You can only interact with other priests because that's the same vibe y'all on. And if y'all gonna do something behind doors, y'all just gonna keep it to you know what I'm saying? So they separate now from the whole fucking society because they spitting this old shit. And now it was like some bullshit. Nobody really digging it, but it makes sense because this is the new. I mean, it's like, oh, this is the new twist. Ah, okay, fuck it. Like I say, these black people in Charleston, man, they scary, man. They do a lot of shit I don't understand. So, um, but that's because again, a lot of these white people just playing crazy ass games. Like again, you got a free school set up by the church for slaves. What type of shit is that? You know what I'm saying? Is the owners sending their kids to this Negro school for slaves? You know what I'm saying? Like whose kids is going to this school? And like, you know, once they trained Harry and Andrew, they sent them out. You know what I'm saying? Like they sent Andrew out to the country and Harry stayed in the city, schoolmaster. So they did this for about 20 years, man. And like I say, like these slaves is going to school, free school, every day. And some of these masters are sending their kids to school. You know what I mean? So like, as I said, these people in Charleston, it gets weird. So this is still in the 1740s and 60s, before the guys said about the 1770s, when the black people start creating their own churches. So now you can see why they create their own churches, because they got almost 30 years of the Negro preacher. They ain't got a church yet, but they got this Negro school churning out these Negro preachers. So then what happened? Though none of the SPG, the Society of Propaganda Gospel, now don't forget these motherfuckers, reports indicates any problems with Harry, you know, he was their nigga, right? They owned him. The slave teacher was rather suddenly deemed maniacal. But I want to say it like maniacal, because this is what's about to happen. Like, not maniacal, like scheming, but, you know, like a maniac. That's what they're trying to say. So, and prolific, which is like, um, saying the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? Or professing evil. You know, after 21 years of ostensibly loyal service and effective teaching. So after 21 years, poor old Harry snapped. If you got a lion riding around on a motherfucking tricycle, and one day the lion eat the motherfucker trainer, say, "No, the lion went crazy, lion went crazy, no, the lion went lion, the lion went lion." Fuck that shit. They fucked my nigga up. So this what happened. The local vestry, a governing body of lay church members, ordered in 1768 that Harry, the slave, the Negro, the victim here, that keeps the school at the parsonage, for repeated transgressions, be sent to workhouse, which is a jail, and put into the madhouse, where he there to be kept till orders from the vestry take him out. So they put my man in the loony bin, the crazy house. First they put him in jail in the workhouse, then they put him in the madhouse. So that's what they do with the first Negro preacher in America. Hope this helped you. Thanks for watching, guys. You know, we'll visit this from time to time, see what else is going on. But we're not gonna do the second. We already just did the second Negro preacher, right? Maybe not. Maybe you got something else for you. There you go. If anybody ever asks you, how'd you get that Bible? You can tell them, I got it from Harry, the first Negro preacher that was paid for by the Church of England. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.